The Smart School Class 6 Science Video Lesson 5. We shall continue chapter number 2, that is Life and Living Things. Today our topic is sense organs. We shall study from page number 24 to page number 31. For this lesson we shall require Science Fact File 1 textbook, notebook and pencils. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify the 5 sense organs, describe the structure of eye, ear and skin, explain how eye, ear, skin, tongue and nose detect changes in the environment, describe how these changes are interpreted by the brain. We shall do a recap of the previous lesson. Can you put the following words in order, starting with the simplest? The correct order for these words is cell, tissue, organ, organ system, and finally organism. Sensitivity. Can you give some examples of plants and animals that respond to the environment? This is a certain plant called touch me not. When it is touched, its leaves wither, as you can see in this picture. Here a chameleon is changing his color with respect to its environment. These are the examples of changes or responses that the animals and plants give to the environment. How do human beings respond to what is going around our body? We use the 5 senses to be aware of what is going around our body. Can you name the 5 senses and their organs? The 5 senses are sight, hearing, touch, smell and taste, and their respective organs are eyes for sight, ears for hearing, skin for touch, nose for smell, and tongue for taste. Eyes. How does having 2 eyes help us when we can see with our one eye? What happens is that the left eye view and the right eye view are merged in the brain to form the original image. We see from our eyes that are a few centimeters apart from each other, and that's how we make 2 different images in the brain. This helps us to judge distance and find the positions of things easily. The images that are produced by the left eye and the right eye, they are to be processed by the brain. How does the brain process those images? The brain puts the 2 images from each eye together to give a 3-dimensional effect. This is called stereoscopic vision. Now we shall see a video that will explain the structure of eyes.
Kids Health presents How the Body Works with Chloe and the Nerve.
Nerb, just because eyeballs are the size of ping pong balls doesn't mean they make good ping pong balls.
A Nerb cannot be blamed for his love of scientific exploration, my dear Chloe. It is what makes him a Nerb.
Then can we use the eyeballs to explore how an eyeball works instead?
We could, but these are kind of small and...
Squished.
One might say that.
How about we take a look at him?
Most excellent idea! Let's do! The eyeball is a beautiful machine with lots of different parts working together to let you see.
Poets say the eyes are the window to the soul.
Well, the window to the eyeball is the cornea, a dome of clear tissue up in front of the eye that focuses light as it passes through. Look at that beautiful green eye! then brown eye, and blue eye.
The colorful part is called the iris, right?
Yep, it's right behind the cornea. In the middle of the iris is a black circle called the pupil, an opening that lets light into the eye. The iris has muscles attached to it that change its size, making the pupil bigger and smaller to control how much light gets through.
So the pupil gets smaller when there's a lot of light and bigger when it's dimmer. Don't look now, but I think we're being watched.
Ha! He blinked first.
Which is a good thing. Blinking protects and moistens the eye.
Good point.
So what happens after the light has passed through the cornea and the pupil?
The light passes through the lens.
Like the lens in a camera?
Precisely. The lens focuses the light onto the back of the eye, where seeing really starts to happen.
Can the lens in the eye focus on stuff that's close and stuff that's far, like a camera lens would?
It sure can. Let's head inside to see how. Last one through the pupil's a rotten egg. The lens is held in place by a bunch of fibers which are attached to the ciliary muscle.
Ciliary.
The ciliary muscles change the shape of the lens to let the eye change its focus from something close by to something far away.
What are you waiting for? Let's get focusing!
To see something near, the ciliary muscle makes the lens thicker. To see something far, the ciliary muscle makes the lens thinner. From the lens, we travel to the retina, the back wall of the eyeball.
Right, because the lens focuses the light onto the retina.
The retina has millions of light-sensitive cells called rods and cones. About 120 million rods and 7 million cones in each eye.
Whoa, that's a lot of rods and cones. What's the difference between them?
It's the difference between black and white and color. The rods see in black, white, and shades of gray and help us see the shape and form of a thing. Rods also help us see in the dark.
And the cones see color?
Cones are sensitive to one of three colors: red, green, or blue. Together they let us see millions of colors. But cones need more light than rods to work well.
Hey, what's this thing behind the retina?
Hey, no bouncing on the optic nerve. It carries messages to the brain about what you're seeing. The rods and cones change the colors and shapes you see into millions of nerve messages. Then, those messages are carried along the optic nerve to the brain.
It's like your eye is sending the brain a report on what you're seeing.
Then your brain translates the report into cat, apple, or bicycle.
Or a ping pong ball. Keep your eye on the ball there, Nerb.
No, it's on.
Quick quiz on what we have learned from the video. Can you label the parts of the eye given in the figure below? The correct answers are: this is called cornea, this part is called as pupil, this is the lens of the eye, this is iris, the colored part, here you can see the retina, and this is the optic nerve that connects the brain and the eye. A person enters a dark room from bright sunlight. What will be the shape of its pupil? Will it be like this, or will it be like this? The correct answer is the pupil will be dilated in the dark. That means its size will increase when the person enters a dark room from bright sunlight. Just like our eyes, we also have two ears. Do you know why do we have two ears? Having two ears helps us to tell where a sound is coming from. How are we able to hear sounds? Sounds are vibrations in air. Ears change these vibrations into nerve impulses. These nerve impulses are actually messages which travel to brain with the help of auditory nerves. The brain then interprets these messages as sounds. That is how we are able to hear sounds. Now we shall see a video that will explain how the ears work.
The ears collect sounds and turn them into messages for the brain to interpret. They also send information about balance to the brain. Three sections of the ear work together to make this happen. They are the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. The outer ear is made up of the pinna and the ear canal. These parts gather sounds from the environment and funnel them into the middle ear. The middle ear takes these sounds and turns them into vibrations. Sounds that come into the middle ear hit the eardrum, causing it to move. The eustachian tube helps the eardrum to work well by keeping the air pressure balanced on both sides. When the eardrum moves, it makes three small bones called ossicles vibrate. The vibrations are then sent to the inner ear. The inner ear receives vibrations and changes them into messages that go to the brain. These messages are called nerve signals. The inner ear is made up of the cochlea and the vestibule, which includes the semicircular canals. The cochlea has fluid in it that moves like a wave. This happens when vibrations come in from the middle ear. The moving fluid causes hair cells to make nerve signals about sound. Semicircular canals also use moving fluid to create nerve signals that help with balance. Then, the signals from the cochlea travel along the auditory nerve. Signals from the semicircular canals go along the vestibular nerve. These two nerves come together and lead to the brain. There, the brain decodes the signals to get information about sound and balance.
A quick quiz on the video that we have just seen. Which of the following is a function of ear flaps or pinna? A. That it collects vibrations and sends them to ear canal. Or B. That it amplifies the vibrations of the eardrum. Or C. That it connects outer ear and inner ear. The correct answer is it collects vibrations and sends them to ear canal. Ossicles, which are hammer, anvil and stirrup, are small bones in the ear. They are found in the outer ear, middle ear or inner ear. The correct answer is they are found in the middle ear. Skin. How do you feel when you touch a hot thing with your hand? The skin on the hand senses the hotness of the object. This person cannot hold this hot pan for a long time. He has to release it. The reason is that the skin senses the hotness of the pan and then it gives us a message to release the pan to avoid any burn or hurt. Can you tell any other functions of skin other than the senses of touch? Number 1. It stops germs and harmful chemicals to enter the body. Number 2. It gives protection against sunlight. And number 3. It also prevents the loss of water from the body. All of these are the functions of skin. What skin layers do you see in this diagram? They are the inner layer, over here, and the outer layer that is shown right here. There is also a layer of fat under these two layers, as you can see here. What kind of sensations do the nerve cells in the skin detect? The nerve cells detect the sensation of touch, temperature, as in how hot or cold is it outside, and pain. That is how the nerves are attached with the skin. This is the muscles of skin, and this is the nerve cells attached with the skin. Where can you find nerve cells sensitive to touch? There are lots of nerve cells sensitive to touch on the fingertips, lips, and tongue. Although nerve cells that are sensitive to touch are present on all the parts of our body, but these three areas are more sensitive to touch as compared to the other parts. Other than these three areas, on the roots of all the hair on the body, there are nerve cells that are sensitive to touch. What do these nerve cells sense? They tell you whether surfaces are hard, soft, rough, or smooth. These are the things and the characteristics that are sensed by the nerve cells that are sensitive to touch. Which part of our body has more heat sensitive nerve cells? The front of the body has more nerve cells which are sensitive to heat than the back. How do we feel pain? As you know, that if something pricks your skin, you will feel pain. How does that happen? This is because of the free nerve endings present all over the body and inside it as well. That is how we detect pain. Tongue is another sense organ and it senses taste. You can see in this picture 4 different types of taste buds are shown: bitter, sour, sweet, and salty. These are the areas which can detect salty taste. This is where you can taste sweet. These are where sour taste buds are present, and the bitterness is detected on this part of the tongue. Keep it in your mind that although these are the areas that have more number of these taste buds, but other taste buds are also present in these areas. Where are your taste buds located in the tongue? These are present in between the ridges. How are we able to taste the things that we eat? Nerve cells are present in the taste buds. They send signals to the brain, which interprets them as tastes. Nose is another sense organ that senses smell. How are we able to smell something? Smells are chemicals in the air. Air goes through the nose as we breathe in, and then these chemicals that are present in the air, they enter the nose along with the air. Then the nerve cells present inside the nose detect these chemicals and send signals to the brain. The brain interprets these signals as smells. We shall do another quick quiz on what we have studied. In the human skin, the dead layer lies above the outer layer, below the fatty layer, below the inner layer, or in between the inner and the outer layer. The correct answer is it is present above the outer layer. Which of the following is not a sensation of the tongue? Is it bitter, salty, spicy, or sweet? The correct answer is spicy. It is not a sensation of the tongue. We shall now summarize what we have learned so far. The 5 sense organs in human body are the eyes, the ears, the skin, the tongue, and the nose. They sense sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell respectively. Each sense organ is made of different parts that perform their functions. That is how we are able to sense changes in the environment. Nerve cells in each sense organ detect changes and send signals to brain. The brain interprets these signals and we have a sensation. Your home task is to read from page 24 to page 28 of the textbook. Then you have to attempt these test yourself questions given on page 25, 26, 27 and 28 of the textbook as shown in these pictures over here. You have to attempt these questions on your notebooks. Then you are to attempt exercise questions 1 and 2 given on page 29 of the textbook. After that, you are to attempt exercise question 6 given on page 31 as shown in this picture, and you are to do this question on your notebook. Finally, you are to attempt question 8 and 9 given on page 12 and 13 of the workbook as shown in this picture, and you are to do these questions within the space provided on the workbook. Good luck.